people were trying to cross multiple times, and maybe 4, 5, or 6 times, however many times it took, in order to get back to your job, to your family, or to support your family. And every time you're spending 3 or 5 days in the desert, you're very dehydrated. Of course, when you're dumped back, you're in even worse shape than when you're trying to cross again. And so we knew that maybe if we could provide a safe place for people to make a decision about what they're going to do and a little bit of support, we could help people be in a better shape, whether they're going to return to family, wherever that is, or cross again, which is not our decision to make for them. So that was really the reason why we went to Mexico. And this is just, obviously we have these very high-tech milk crates that are often used for bandaging feet. It was definitely a very makeshift aid station, which has now developed into a lot more tents, a lot more stuff going on. There's now a shelter run by Jesuit Refugee Service and some Catholic nuns, as well as a lot of other services that weren't offered a few years ago to all support people who've been dumped back. This is an idea of just a really bad blister. The skin is white because the cells have died, and so it's pretty much dead skin that you have to cut off. And if there's dirt and stuff inside of the skin flap, then that's going to cause infection. So it's quite the process to really, if you're in a hospital setting, this person would be kept off their feet. It would be bandaged. It would have to be sterilized and bandaged, and it would be very serious. It would be, reason for not releasing them. And so people weren't receiving medical treatment in Border Patrol custody as well. And so this is just the basic southern Arizona border, which I'm sure all of you geography majors know very well. And this is Nogales that I'm talking about here. And the red dots are the deaths from, what year is this? Oh, this is 2000 to 2007. So a partner humanitarian group called Humane Borders, their main mission is putting out big blue water tanks. They create these maps as well, and they track when any remains are found. They track how they can plot it, try to find patterns. There's a main corridor through Sasabe here, up through desert. It's hundreds of square miles of desert, and so it really is a very desolate place. And that really is the reason why I'm going to kind of, as a thread throughout, talk more about the mission of No More Deaths instead of just saying this is the mission statement. But No More Deaths really, it started in 2003. A sister group, the Samaritans, started just before that. Because people were funneled to the most dangerous places. And I know if you all saw the film that you already heard all this, but with NAFTA, the free trade agreement of North America, Canada, US, and Mexico being signed in 1994, and with the major walls going up that Clinton signed into being, going up in the major cities of Tijuana, Nogales, and El Paso, all the migration was funneled to the most dangerous areas, which is what the lawmakers expected to happen. They thought that the desolate desert would be a deterrent, and it wasn't, because at the same time that the free trade agreements were destroying livelihoods in Mexico, it was increasing the desperation to get across. So that's really the context of why No More Deaths had to begin, and why we're still out there. NAFTA's still in effect, and CAFTA, the Central American Free Trade Agreement, was also signed, and those are some of the major root causes of migration that we definitely like to point out. No More Deaths doesn't necessarily sponsor certain political, we definitely don't sponsor political parties or candidates, and we would even be hesitant to sponsor immigration reform, which maybe some of you were going to ask. That's a very common question, because it never talks about the root causes of why people are really coming, why people need to come, and why it really is forced migration for a lot of people. And another reason is because we know that these walls have caused a lot of death, and that the increased border militarization that has had a tremendous effect on the environment and on natural animal migrations is directly linked to more and more death because people are pushed out to more desolate areas. So these are just a few more pictures of the aid station handing out water. Very, very makeshift, as I said. This is, I think, the first summer. People of all ages, obviously. There's about 25 to 30% women and children, and that is more of a recent phenomenon because as the men used to be able to do this circular migration where they could come and work for a while in the U.S. and then go home for a while and stay with their families, as that was more and more difficult and more expensive, they stayed in the U.S. and are now, bringing up their families to come with them here, to come live with them here. So there's definitely a lot of women and children. And Arizona, southern Arizona desert is the epicenter for death. Those are just pictures that he'll begin to talk about. So yeah, as you know, a 22-year-old, that's when I started to work in Nogales. I was definitely faced with very directly organized crime and drug smuggling and poverty and all of these really tough issues that are hard to wrap your head around. And one thing that our organization has really had to be strong about is that as the violence increases in Nogales, as the drug cartels have really taken over human smuggling now, and there's a lot more violence toward really innocent people in the city, it really challenges us to not hide on our side of the border because our policies have really created this really chaotic, violent situation in northern Mexico, and that the organized crime is definitely fueled by the very lucrative price of a head to come across the border as well as for drugs. So that's been a big challenge for me as well to admit to myself and to try to find that strength within to say, yeah, I'll go to Nogales still. I know that there's danger and I know that it freaks out my family, but we're not going to abandon our brothers and sisters who we need to be in solidarity with. So that's definitely been part of my personal journey, is just being willing to take more risks. And just really quick to wrap up with a little bit more of my journey. When I first started working with No More Deaths, I literally showed up with a backpack and a water bottle and was just ready to go. I didn't think I would be there for almost 6 years. And my parents were very much against it. They told me that they thought I was helping terrorists or I was helping people break the law. They were mostly very scared for me, I think. There's that parental sense of protection, and all they knew about immigration and about the border was really what they were seeing on Fox News. And so it's been quite the journey with my family as well, and there have been tears and door slamming and debates, but I think it's well worth it. And after about a year, knowing that they kind of disagreed with what I was doing, and I continued to share just the human stories that I was hearing, and eventually my parents did tell me that they were very proud of what I was doing, and they've actually been a big support since. But it wasn't very easy to begin with to kind of know that I was going against what my parents and what my family felt was appropriate, but knowing that I was doing what I felt like I really needed to be doing and felt such a connection to this work. So it wasn't all easy, and there's definitely been times of burnout, and we can definitely talk about this later. And if you really want to know Burnout 101, we don't have the answers, but I definitely had to switch also from being this sprint activist in college, where you just going fast-paced, to needing to be more of a marathoner. And we had this amazing intergenerational community of people who've been doing this for decades that we learned from, and how to make this more of a lifestyle, so we'll talk about that more too. So thanks.